for an adventure?
Always.
Each week, bringing you everything you want to make sure that's not to be missed, everything to mark on the calendar, everything happening in Northwest Indiana, Chicagoland, and beyond. And of course, this is the broadcasting equivalent of all the columns, feature stories you'll read in editions of the Post-Tribune, the flagship newspaper that I write for, that falls underneath the Chicago Tribune media brand. Also, you can find everything captured at chicagotribune.com as well. We're so glad that you're here. We couldn't be here without our generous underwriters, the folks at People's Bank, the Legacy Foundation, and of course, Indiana Arts Commission make this broadcast possible these past 8 years. We're so pleased to again tell you everything that's happening that you want to make sure that you mark your calendar. Some of you have the added advantage of seeing what's happening here in our studios as we broadcast to you from our Strachan Van Til studios in Hammond. And this broadcast is being captured on June the 16th, so Monday morning, June the 16th, in case it is a rebroadcast. Some of you might find us in our streaming, so you have, again, the added advantage of our video cameras. Others of you are on the traditional radio dial. We're just so glad that you're here today. We're seeing a bit of green today, and that's not just because we've had recent rain here as we look to what summer solstice is just around the corner coming up this weekend. But even better yet, just one further week on, you'll have the next selection at Dunes Arts Foundation at Dune Summer Theater, our friends along the lake in Michigan City. Outside Mullingar is their latest offering, it's a dark comedy that is one of the ones that ranks as a favorite of mine. I've seen it a couple times. And joining us via Zoom, they're taking a quick break between the set design and all the components that go into making these productions happen. Our returning friend, Michael Lasswell. Are you there, Michael?
I am here. Hi.
And we are joined by, who's your friend right there next to our cast?
Peter Gertas, and I will be playing Anthony in the show.
All right, we are in good company here as we find out a little bit more. And I know, again, literally, you just finished with what was such a hit run of Misery. And so that set will come down. We're going to take your audiences now to it's really rural Ireland and some of the farm ground. Ground being a key term. This is a tale that talks a little bit about boundaries, and boundaries can be very symbolic in this case. Which of you two wants to give us the tease thumbnail about this story?
It's kind of like a thinking man's rom-com.
That's right.
It's about how hard it is to fall in love in a small town. These two farmers, a man and a woman, have lived next door to each other their whole life and have never had the guts to act on it. And it's about getting to a happy ending really slowly because they live in a small town. They're Irish, they're Catholic, and they are shy.
And I don't know if you've changed or if you've kept it Trapped in Time. Does it say anywhere in your play program it is really set to be in what time or landscape?
So the entirety of the play actually takes place from 2008 to 2013. So it's actually rather close in time.
Yeah, it really is.
It has to sort of happen before COVID happens, and the world is very different now than it was in 2013.
Yeah.
Opening your heart is very different now than it was in 2013. Nowadays in America, we just have all these Tinder matches and J-Date and all the rest of it. And we don't know what it's like anymore to be passionately in love with somebody your whole life. So that's sort of what the play is about.
That is so true. And give us the claim to fame name of the playwright attached to the story.
John Patrick Shanley won Oscars and a lot of acclaim. The nation got to know him on Moonstruck, particularly for that line of Cher's when she's arguing with Nicolas Cage and she slaps him and says, "Snap out of it." This whole play is like the snap out of it moment in Moonstruck. He also
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
He also won Oscars for his production of a play about Catholic priests and nuns called Doubt, with Meryl Streep and a lot of wonderful people.
I folded that play title into one of my recent columns, talking about if if our friend Janet Davies is ever back on the boards, the old stage boards again after doing such a wonderful run in Misery, oh, I can see her as playing that principal character at that Catholic school and keeping everybody in line and letting
Yeah.
her follow habit there. So that was my nod to her. And
Oh, he would kill in that part.
Would she? Wouldn't she? And best of all, for again, let's just do a little recap for our friends that have not made their way yet to the Dunes Summer Theater. What a fantastic landscape! And Peter, are you there for the whole summer? Or are you just on board for this project?
I'm just on board for this project. They have me staying out in the actor cabins, and honestly, it's a summer vacation that I also get to do my favorite kind of work in. So
Oh,
it's been great.
yeah, you are
I
in a great space. So when you come out and visit, you're parking this wooden train. Literally on kind of a clear day, you can hear the waves through the trees there of Lake Michigan. And
Oh yeah,
as Peter said, there's small cottages. These were completely redone. I understand they even have air conditioning in there. Is that right?
they sure do.
tell him what happened this morning at 3.
Oh yeah, at 3 a.m. I had a mother deer and a baby deer scratch at my door for a little bit and then settle right on the little porchlet outside of the cabin.
Oh, I'm
I
telling
didn't
you.
want to disturb them, so I was just kind of like, "Oh my God, what is that noise?"
That
Yeah.
is
He,
Shangri-La. That whole area underneath that terrace. Speaking of which, there's kind of a multi-level terrace. There are libations and a wonderful cocktail bar that is open during the performances. And sometimes, if it gets a bit of chill in the air, there's been known to even be a fire pit, I think, down that way, isn't there?
absolutely, yes. Bonfires every night, depending on the show.
Tell us again the title of the show and run dates as well, Michael.
Outside Mullingar, it runs first previews June 26th, opens June 27th, and plays through July 13th. So get your tickets now. We had our most successful show in 10 years here with Misery.
Yes.
Sold out audiences, standing ovations every night, and that's getting us a lot of new patrons and new subscribers. So it would definitely be a good time to start booking your tickets now.
And again, they can do it online. Give us the website.
Dunesarts.org. It's very easy. Just one word, DUNESARTS.org.
It feels like you're just in another space when you do it, and it's so close and easy to get to. So from out our way here, a little farther to the state line towards Chicagoland here, jump on the expressway. Literally, you can be there within 48 minutes. I've timed it. You get good traffic, it just moves right along. At night, usually there's never any issue to get back. Super easy, right along Highway 20, right? We say Highway 20 is the easiest way to get
Yeah,
right off of it,
yeah.
and it's one-stop shop once you're there. It is just its own paradise, Shangri-La, as I mentioned. And this is a small cast. This cast only has how many people in it?
Just 4. Danielle Bilderback, who was so wonderful as Ruth in Blithe Spirit for me last year, is playing his love interest. Great local actor director named Morgan McCabe. Actually, you can see.
Oh, yeah, and I think we have that image also. I think Joe has the cast gathered around the table doing maybe one of the table readings. He can pop that up there. Kind of gives an idea to show all of our friendly faces around that table gathered with their scripts as there we are, getting acquainted with the storyline and their characters. So we see at the head, Michael at the head of the table. We see Peter right there, and then we have, I'm guessing, probably a couple of the understudies, right? And then also the love interest. Let's see, we've got Michael still back there. We'll get his feed back up.
I think he's gone.
Let's see. Did he zap out? He'll come back in the room.
Oh.
If he is not, he will come right back.
We have.
Yeah, as we wait for to get Michael and Peter back, I will say that I think the first. There we are. You're back. I think the first.
I wanted to show you our beautiful poster.
Eric.
And unplugged us. So yeah, the
Yeah,
posters
and
with
then
the honey.
then we did a quick shot of floated the photo of the table reading of everybody gathered around there.
Right.
It's things move fast there at the Dunes Arts Foundation's Dune Summer Theater. While you had that successful run of Misery, everybody was already together trying to also do rehearsals, and there really isn't another. Is there a secondary rehearsal space? I mean, it's a whole campus, and I know that is planned. There was a lodge, or what is the remnants of a skeleton of a lodge there that's along the lane. I always think that'd be a great rehearsal space there. But where do you do your rehearsing at?
We did it on the set of Misery most of the time, and then I have a house in New Buffalo where we discovered this play plays really well in somebody's actual kitchen, so we
Mhm.
considered
Ah,
doing it in people's kitchens instead, and just going house to house and performing the play.
individually customized.
Yeah, exactly,
Make it a kind of a kind of a traveling dinner party. Well, I
exactly.
think the time I saw this, I want to say Northlight Theater, I believe, did it up in Skokie,
Right.
and yeah, with Kay, and I just was so drawn to the story and every component of it on the little desk here in our studios. And I should remind everybody in case it's a rebroadcast because this will be played over and over again, which is good because it gives you plenty of time for this run that starts towards the very end of the month here in June to get your tickets. But today's interview is happening on June the 16th. So on our Monday morning, June the 16th, is when we're capturing our interview with Michael and Peter. And on the desk, I brought some stones from the farm from one of the rock gardens and some shamrocks here just to sort of kind of give a little bit of an indication of where we're headed with this latest play offering. It will tap into, I think, everybody's psyche and story. I think everybody has in the moment in their mind that's a missed opportunity. It could be with romance. It could be with another opportunity as, it could be a family, situation where you maybe have not mended that fence, which is kind of a key term here when we talk about the physical boundaries here. But also just sometimes grudges last a long time. And it sounds like in Ireland, boy, they can last a very long time, right?
Yeah, yeah. I actually come from Jewish people from Ireland, which means we get both the spite and the guilt at the same time.
That's right, exactly. You get yeah, you get the best and worst of both worlds. Peter, well,
Yes.
what's the last project that you were in that audiences will say, "Oh yeah, I think I remember," or you had some affiliation, or you came out to see a show last season. Tell us what's the last time you were on property.
Uh,
I haven't been on property for Dune Arts. This will be my first time here, but the very last project I did was Cinderella and A Christmas Carol at Metropolis Theater in Chicago.
Oh,
right.
but had you done field trips and come out and seen the space, or ever seen a show, or no?
Never before, no.
No, the
Wow.
his exposure was he was one of my students at Roosevelt, and last year I hired two of my students, Maddie Pell and Peter and Sean Kelly, to be in Blythe Spirit, and that worked out really well. And I reached out to Peter. He did a killer Zoom audition, but his character in the play gets stuck with all of the rough farm work and being underappreciated by his community. And I said, "Have you ever had a similar experience?" And he mentioned to me that he worked for me as a work study student for 4 years.
Well, and you mentioned the part of so much of it being kind of centered in that kitchen space or around a table or this or that. Remind me, I always love to ask this question about prop food or beverages. I know that weak tepid tea tends to fill in for anything from a pint or this or that. Are there any scenes that require any type of noshing or eating? I can't remember.
So we are actually having a difficult time with trying to simulate Guinness on stage. We have settled with root beer, but the head on root beer fizzles out
Yeah.
really, really quickly. So any suggestions you've got, we
Yeah.
would love to take them.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what they have out right now, which would be perfect for this. Now that you ask it, go to the dairy section of any grocery store, and right where they have the spray can, whipped cream and things like that, Creamate, which is is it Creamate? Yeah, Coffee Mate that does all the different flavored little small creamers now does a foam that you can put on top, and it lasts a long time. It's not like a whipped cream; it's a different consistency, and it does not weep or deflate. So maybe give that a try. If there's a way that when when it's poured or when it's served, or somehow you can do a little sleight of hand and add a little spritz of that on top, it'll stay for a while and it'll leave you with a mustache as well after you take that first swig.
Yeah, maybe, and maybe we might figure out some contest for who has the best foaming root beer solution for us.
That's
That way
right, exactly.
we can give away free tickets to you. I always love to give away free tickets on your show.
Oh yeah, we love it because there are so many people I'm telling you, once as you mentioned, once they experience that just first of all the fact that I happen to be there on the 74th anniversary date on that Sunday, which was so special. Steve Scott announced it, and that was for one of the Run of Misery performances, and there were so many people that had come back, or even audiences that had not been there for a while. And this is not, I've kind of followed the path and timeline of the last 10 years of June Summer Theater. This is not at all to mean a slight, because I applaud every single administration that has
Yeah.
helped keep it going. But it's not the same June Summer Theater as 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, or 8 years ago. It's transformed. It's changed. I'm not saying that I didn't have a great time in those other performances as well when I saw things, but I'm telling you, it's a whole different world, and that's to do a lot with you, Michael, with Elise, with Steve Scott. It's just up another couple notches, and that's when those audiences come. They're hooked, and hopefully they buy the whole season. Can you get the whole season as a subscription, or no? It's all a la carte?
No, you can definitely get the whole season as a subscription. We have 4 more shows if you include our cabaret evening. There's even kind of deal if you bought a ticket to the first show, you can talk to the box office folks about turning that into a season ticket somehow. It's a charmed existence. When I got here 3 years ago, the first show was Boeing, and they were telling me there might be 15, 20 people in the audience.
Yep.
And we just did a show where we were shoehorning them in.
Yeah.
And so we went from 15 to 225 people. So it's an accomplishment.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I should mention as well, if it's somebody who's not been there for a while, inside the theater, just like the little cottages where the talent stays, it's climate controlled, so it's pleasant. I mean, it always was very. I thought it was pleasant. It was basically cinder block, so it was cool. It was kind of nestled into the sandscape there, and I never thought it was oppressive. I mean, the lights went down. If I know for the actors on stage, it might have been a little toasty up there, but now, I mean, it is extremely comfortable and not a bad seat now. So, how many seats are there total these days?
225. Yeah, it's all of the fun of an outdoor theater. We have a nice tiki bar that we're giving an Irish name to for this show. And but right now, Peter and I are sitting here on the porch having this interview in front of our poster, and there's a hawk circling
Yeah.
around looking for chipmunks it can eat.
There you go. Everybody has to have their breakfast. Now, we talk about this rural rustic. I mentioned, I live on a farm, so I'm familiar with all this. Here's the tough curveball Larry King, Joan Rivers question for Michael. I don't think Peter can speak to this, but just in the seasons that you have been there, has there ever been, when you mention any names, when a cast member or somebody did the Zoom interview, signed on, and boy, they were like the Gabor character of and Green Acres when it came to roughing it, living it in a cottage.
Mercifully, not so far. We have a kind of strict no princesses rule, no princesses, male or female, that we warn them that this is what the housing is going to be. We show them pictures, and most people have a really good time. You have to get used to living in a Disney movie. We have flocks of wild turkeys and turtles crawling across our parking lot. It's you know, it's a shared kitchen and shower and bathroom experience for the actors, but it brings them closer. It's sort of like being in the Marine Corps together.
Well, and in the past, and this may not have had anything to do with just the living, but I think there was a couple actresses. They just happen to have friends in the area, so they opted to live off property and come back and forth and commute. But otherwise, yeah, a lot of times when folks come, even just transportation. I mean, we have today's Uber, but other than maybe the South Shore and taking a train into the city or so, it's rather remote. So yeah, get a good book and or your Kindle and have some reading material. If you're not memorizing your script, I guess, right, Peter?
Yeah, totally.
Now, I
Wow.
think our producer
Really
Joey
enjoyed it.
was floating a sign in there. I don't know if that was a phone call or if it was something to do with our. It's a phone call. So if there's a caller in the line who had a question, we can certainly take that.
Never
And
mind, they're gone now.
all right, if you were out there listening and you wanted to call to get more information or questions, certainly call and Joe will get it to us. Also, Joe, if you wouldn't mind, put that poster up for us, and then we're going to get Michael to give us the rundown again as we start to wrap up here. Tickets, the website, the name of our run, and all that good detail.
All right. It's outside Mullingar. It's a grown-ups romantic comedy. It runs from June 27th to July 13th, Friday, Saturday, 7 o'clock, Sunday, 2 o'clock. Dunesarts.org, DUNESART Dunesart.org. Dunesart.org.
And when you're going on and making your selection, it's a general seating, correct?
Yes, general seating. I like in Misery, I told people to show up at 6:30 when the doors open, so you can get seats
Yeah.
in the splash zone. I like to cuddle up down front.
Steve Scott made a great point. He said, we found out that by putting one of the QR codes on the back of like every third seat or so, when people are sitting there, as opposed to maybe not necessarily looking at their paper program, they'll scan that, and you can certainly do a donation because as listeners and viewers are very familiar with this show, we continue to always preach and teach that the ticket price is a very small fraction of what it takes for the entire overhead of what happens to have a production happen in, let alone an entire season, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And after COVID, there were theaters that folded right, left, and center all over this area, and the Dunes is thriving. So if you want to support this tradition and see a play by the guy who wrote Moonstruck, this is the one to come to.
Yeah, again, it's just a stone's throw to get to Michigan City, and the talent that they have there is absolutely, it's incredible, amazing. And I always nod to Steve Scott, artistic director. He has a long history with the Goodman Theater in Chicago, and like so many people that are out that way, happen to have a weekend home. Michael, much like you, something that's right along nestled in the lake. And what a great way to get back to the community to say, hey, I'm right here. Let me lend my talents and as Mickey Rooney and Judy Carly would say, let's put on a show, right? Let's put on a show, and you have a lot of late nights, but I'm guessing what you've done is very cleverly designed. What is a set, maybe skeleton or shell that will be able to be transformed for your needs for outside Mullingar? Is that kind of the purposing of it?
A little bit. I mean, the set for Misery was movie scenery. It was
Yeah.
nuts and bolts, slamming doors, all the rest of it. This is more suggested. I feel like the fence you talked about and the land are a character in it. So we're creating these green rolling hills that roll all the way to the back wall of the theater.
Oh, while you're describing that, Joe, put up that artist rendering. It's such a beautiful, lush green landscape with that stone wall. Continue,
That's what,
Michael.
yeah, I remember just the intensity of the green, and they talk about the land in every scene and how Peter's character is the kind of person who would die if he moved to Dublin. You know,
Yeah.
he's connected to the earth, so it's very lush, it's very bucolic, it's very romantic, and if we had any brains, we would have just played it out on the lawn out here. But we're
Yeah,
bringing the outdoors indoors on this one.
yeah, and weather pending. We did that. When I say we, I feel like I was right there along for the line with that reopening, and I think it was Forever Plaid that was right there, right outside, and it worked well. Bring lawn chairs and things, but if you get a tough weather day, be it temperature or be it precipitation, then it's not always in your favor. So I think you're better in a more controlled environment, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's completely climate controlled. It's very pleasant. People from New Buffalo had never been here, and it's 7 minutes from New Buffalo. It's 7 minutes from Michigan City, and it's 12 minutes from LaPorte. It's perfectly central to all the areas around here.
And Peter, if you were outside and the more humid it got, would your beard and probably your hair just keep getting more and more curly and curly in the humidity,
Honestly,
right?
yeah, they asked me to grow it out for this production, and I am itching to take this off.
It would have its own zip code probably at that point. Well, we're
Right.
excited about. I'll be out again for the chance to see the show and again just enjoy what is just a beautiful landscape. It's a Shangri-La. It's the Dunes Summer Theater. It's nestled there. After 74 years, they know a thing or two about raising the curtain and making their audiences feel so welcome and a very, very affordable ticket price. So free parking and for $30, come out and then just enjoy yourself and one-stop shopping. Again, you can have your cocktails right there on the terrace.
Yeah.
It's got a multi-level terrace that's beautiful, patio furniture, overlooks the landscape, and get there
And
early. That's the
you
key.
know, this year we have free Irish music on the patio as well.
Oh, yeah. See, that's a bonus. If you get there an hour early, as you mentioned, it's just again you kind of soak up and get in the right frame of mind. Otherwise, also that parking, which is a good problem to have, that parking is so creative there. You use every available bit of space to fit everybody in. When you've got all the 200 of those seats full, yeah,
Yeah.
there's an
This
overflow
year,
area, but it fills up quick.
yeah, we have a volunteer corps we call the Grateful Dads, and the Grateful Dads single-handedly plowed under our pieces of lawn that it hadn't been exposed for 10 years. And we had to get 5 times more overflow parking than we ever had before because misery was such a hit.
Yeah, and I know once you're mowing down those things, yeah, it might disappear, but there are sticks and stumps and things you don't want people to trip over. So God bless all those volunteers that make everything happen. And also to both of you gentlemen and the entire team, my regards that you bring to the region theater unlike any other. And I mean that wholeheartedly. So
Oh,
we'll be
thanks.
seeing you just around the corner again. Give us our final wrap up. And is there a phone number if somebody is listening and they're old school and they want to call? What would that number be? One of you perhaps have that handy?
Sure thing. That number is going to be 219-879-7509.
Very good. And then the rest of the details, Michael.
Yes, dunesart.org, www.dunesart.org. And it's John Patrick Shanley's Outside Mullingar, June 27th through July 13th.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And you've got plenty of other things to push and tout. So it just means I'll get to see you again and again here for other studio appearances. All right?
All right, thank you.
And Peter, the next time we see you, it'll be in the spotlight on stage in a couple weeks.
Sounds great.
Thank
Cool.
you. And thank you
Thank
for taking
you.
some time out of your busy schedule. I appreciate it, gentlemen.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Good start to the week to you and to all of you, our listeners and our viewers tuned in for this edition of Notoriety. Thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast. Know that where the rest of your day takes you, there's plenty of local news, sports, and weather that'll keep you, along with traffic, informed throughout your day here at WJLB and JED TV. Until next week, enjoy the rest of your day, afternoon, morning, evening, or wherever your path might take you.